Well, sound is the primordial first cause. Sound is the means by which all things have found their way into being. Many years ago, 27 years ago or so, when I first started playing the didgeridoo, before I could play very well at all, I formulated a mantra declaration, and I would say, dream awake the mastery of every didgeridoo healer and player from beginningless beginning to endless end in my own mastery and expression. So I would own the mastery of all players. And when I would listen to amazing pieces of didgeridoo music, I would say, oh my God, look at what an amazing offering I'm giving through that part of me. So to accelerate in the mastery of sound, it is important to be at resonance with the infinite, eternal, omnipresent, all-dimensional reality of the sound healing frequency. So much of the trap is that when we pursue the mastery of sound or any mastery, we're tending to measure our mastery by the exclusiveness of our individual masterful expression. But what it takes to make up my mastery is not just the exclusive, individualized mastery that I own and transmit, but rather the all-inclusive mastery of every being that is, was, or ever will be, even unto the very creation of the universe. See, when God Goddess made celestial love and brought forth this universe into being, because every time is now, every space is here, and every one is us, we can commemorate the ancient origin of the universe from the past. We can pre-memorate, that which is in the future. For example, we can pre-memorate the redemption of our world, that future time within our world where we have no more of this twisted maliciousness and manipulation and control and bureaucratic bullying and legalized gangsterism, sometimes called government. There's a time in the future where that is no more. We can use the frequency of sound, which is also consciousness, to pre-memorate the reality of the exaltation of our world. So we own the all-dimensionality of it. You see, every being accomplishing anything, anywhere, is our own self by extension. And if we would own that, then it would be like linking up the telepathic battery cables, our heart mind to their heart mind, and initiating the soul jumpstart. And we jumpstart ourselves individually by virtue of the universal frequencies of sound mastery, that we witness. It can be relative to sound, it can be relative to anything. And then, of course, the frequency of self-love. Self-love will bring us into a mastery on every level, whether it be sound, whether it be meditation, whether it be teaching, whether it be singing, whatever. The frequency of self-love is so profoundly powerful. I did a video that I released on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, or sometime shortly after Valentine's Day, and I said, I am the love of my life. So many times we will think of this or that person or the great love in our life, and usually the love of our life is ascribed to someone that we were dancing with. But the greatest truth is you are the love of your life. I am the love of my life. But when I start from that premise that I, as the individual resonance of my own beingness, am the love of my life, then I can extend it forward. And then you also are the love of my life because you're an extension of me. The universe is the love of my life. It's an extension of me. The oceans, the mountains, the streams, the galaxy, the stars, everything, the love of my life. Erika was speaking about self-love, and self-love is really an effortless vibration. Sometimes we think of it as being something so difficult, something hard to do. But self-love is really effortless because self-love is co-eternal with God. Just as God is unfolding down the corridors of forever, self-love is unfolding down the corridors of forever. A wise person once said that God has a center that is everywhere and a circumference that is nowhere. There is no center where God's presence is not, and there is no circumference that can bind the expansion of God. There's no circumference that can bind the expansion of you or me. So even when we are in the illusion of self-loathing or self-hatred, in that very same moment, there's this greater expanse of who we are that is standing in the circle of eternity, loving us forever and ever and ever and ever, while we have got caught in the nightmare of the earth dream and the illusion that we don't love ourselves. You can't not love yourself. You can allow yourself to be hijacked and molested by the illusion that you don't love you. See, and what makes self-love easy and all expressions of love easy is the recognition that you don't do love. Love does you. And when you know that, you just let love you. You let love have its way with you. See, one of the powerful energies of transcending and coming into the full resonance of the mysticism that we are, the shamanic frequency that we are. And of course, when we use, the sound frequency, it's the sonic shamanic tonic. But, Erika also spoke about shame and overcoming shame. Shame is one of the biggest enemies that we could possibly have. And one of the things that's important for us to understand about shame is that if I am in a state of shame, I am by extension engaging in inner child abuse.
Mm.
Because who takes the brunt of the pain of my shame would be baby Astarius, little Miraculii, my twins. Everybody has an inner child. I have twins. Baby Astarius and little Miraculii. So, beloveds, I want you to remember that when you're being hard on yourself, when you're criticizing yourself, when you're talking down to yourself, I want you to think of what it would be like to draw back and punch a little 1-year-old you in the face. Because that's exactly what's happening. Shame is inner child abuse. And the shame of the drop is the shame of the ocean. If you shame yourself as an individual, then you are shaming the universe.
Mm.
Because the shame hurled unto the drop is the shame hurled unto the ocean. And we certainly don't want to do that to the universe. So we want to transcend that resonance of shame, and we want to look at all of those who have been very masterful in the transcendence of shame. We want to say, oh my God, look at how powerfully I have transcended shame through that part of me and this part of me and that. You see, so we initiate that soul jump start. See, even now, this forum and this spiritual discourse that we're sharing is reaching out and empowering every other spiritual discourse that is, was, or ever will be, and is in turn being empowered by every other spiritual discourse that is, was, or ever will be. Because not only is there a oneness of wholeness of being, there is a oneness of wholeness of the spiritual discourse,
Mm.
a oneness of wholeness of the victory over shame. a oneness of wholeness, of the sacredness of sexuality. And we
Hmm.
have to own that. There's no more renting with option to buy with regards to our sacred sexuality. We must own that, because neither one of us could be in incarnation without the sacredness of that sexual force, that seed from father and that egg from mother. And so we want to come back to the sacredness of that. And if we're having an individual difficulty in that, then let's look at the heroes and sheroes that have risen up really high, that walk in the erotic innocence and that walk in the sacredness of sexuality. Some people wonder, why am I creatively blocked? Well, the same energy that makes a baby and brings erotic pleasure is the same energy that writes a book, starts a business, manifests a house, manifests a car, or an up-leveled expression of being. We got to have sacred use for the juice. Time to reconnect with the sexual justifier and to recognize the innocence of that. The very birth of the universe is the result of the celestial copulation of God, Goddess Absolute. God, Goddess Absolute, making love at the celestial level and birthing the whole of the universe. And so in this moment, what we want to do is know that we are a microcosm of the Akashic records, a microcosm of the book of God's remembrance, and everything that is, was, or ever will be is known inside of us. So let's feel now together. Let's feel the birth of the universe and the power and the bliss and the love that was felt by a creator source upon birthing this great universe. And we want to give that energy to whatever it is that we're wanting to individually manifest. And we want to give that energy of the birth of the universe to the redemption of our world. We want a better world. We want a world, that is full of love and brotherhood and sisterhood and where we have each other's caboose. You see, we're really there for each other. And even though there's so much within our world that feels really twisted, we can transcend that twistedness. And in truth, it's already done. Everything that is to be already is. Let's be where we're going before we get there. So let's take this energy of the birth of the universe and the exaltation that was felt by God, Goddess Absolute. And let's pour out the baptism of that upon this, our now moment, as we also pre-memorate the absolute victory of our world in the future. And we bring, through this pre-memoration, the victory of our world in the future to harmonically converge with this now memoration of this our now moment during these our now times. And we rise up through this vibration and we come into the resonance of the great femifestation, the womb of creation, the primordial cause of all manifestations. Manifestation, the second coming of reality, is born of emotion in its totality. Thoughts and feelings create all forms, and blessings thrive before they are born. So through great prior appreciation, flood your life with manifestations. The great femifestation is eternal, a never-ending, formless stream of life. If manifestation is your only thrill, you're in the grips of fear and strife. Forms will come and forms will go. This is a truth that we all know, and all things of time and space at some point will be erased. Faith is the substance of all desires, the evidence of that which is not seen. So celebrate the unseen goodness, and all the riches of form are then yours to redeem. When the miracles of your life are still sleeping in the void, skyrocket your gratitude, and they come leaping from the void. You're pregnant with every blessing that will ever come to be. Embryos within your soul, though human eyes have yet to see. So see with the eye of mind and heart, in the infinite realms of the great unseen, choose wonderful feelings without concrete reasons, and all the riches of the kingdom are now yours to redeem. The great manifestation, the womb of creation, the primordial cause of all manifestations. And with this breath, I blow out the baptism of the creation of the universe upon the redemption of our world and the acceleration of your creative fulfillment and fruition. Oh, Ashe, Amen, Namaste, Hotep, in Lakesh, Alakin, Shalom, Satnam, Hariom, Rastafari. Our sacred juices are cooked in infinitely expanding Juicefari, Blistafari. Gonna always have many miles on our smile, wiggle in our giggle and tingling in our boots, laughter ever after, put in our strut, wings on our butt, always rising up. Up at the top, there's room for all. It's just the bottom that's crowded, y'all. So it is, and so it shall eternally be.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, beautiful brother Astarius. And
I love you so much.
I want to encourage everyone to go to his website. It's his name, Astarius, Astarius.com. And there's a beautiful sound healing video right at the top that I've played on my shows before with his beautiful didgeridoo. And there's a lot of wonderful things. So please, and you can contact him. His phone number is right there. If you want private coaching, personal sound healing, any of the beautiful, beautiful offerings. And thank you for sharing time with us this morning. I love you, very. I'm so honored.
Love you,
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you.